If you have an R8 and you're interested in getting into wildlife, which you definitely should try because wildlife is amazing, and not coincidentally, the R8 is quite capable also for wildlife. I'm going to show you how I set my R8 up to get the most out of all of the settings for wildlife and get the best results possible. Let's get into it. All right, so we're just going to go piece by piece here. I'm not going to go over every single thing in the menu ever, but most of the things that I have done. Starting with image quality, I changed that to C-RAW. I know a lot of people leave it on RAW, but the main thing for me is that down here, I turn the JPEGs off because I don't personally want both. So C-RAW and no JPEG for me is totally fine. So all of this stuff I just have as turned off. In my ISO speed setting, I want to make sure I have the most of, this stuff by default is fine for me. I'm totally cool with going to very high ISOs if I need to. Just a couple general things. I changed mine to Adobe RGB. It just gives me the most color space that I can get. Picture style, I have it to standard. It doesn't really matter. I just keep it kind of a more regular or flatter profile just because I know I'm going to be editing a lot. Definitely want to make sure this is turned off. This is mostly for like low light stuff, and it's just not good to have on if you don't have time to let it run. I mean, I do have it in H+ for drive mode, but this doesn't really matter because you can set all this up in Q, and I'll show you that in just a little bit. After drive mode, I'm going to go all the way down here to shutter mode. That's definitely important for me. I like to keep it on electronic. I know you have a chance of rolling shutter with electronic, but I'd rather have it silent, and the rolling shutter on here isn't horrible. All right, so let's get into the good stuff here. So first up, AF operation, I always keep in AI servo. And this is because I use back button focusing. So we're going to go over that in just a minute. AF area, again, because of the way I have everything set up, I always keep this in this spot AF right here because this is the most accurate. And once I show you the back button focusing thing, this is going to allow us to have the best multi-use out of it. So down here in subject to detect, I keep it on animals. You can keep it on auto if you want, if you do a lot of other stuff. Most of the time I know what I'm doing. So I change this. You can change this in the Q menu also. Eye detection, I have it in auto. That just means either auto left or right eye. Auto is always fine. All right, so there's a bunch of ways to do this. The cases, this case is still, this is kind of the older setup for Canon now as compared to their R5 II and R6 II and that kind of stuff. But I keep it in case 1, and then I come to change the tracking sensitivity to -1 and the Excel decel tracking to -1. You can fiddle with these if you want. It just helps keep it, for me, a little bit stickier, and case 1 overall does a fine job for everything that I'm doing. Okay, so the next thing I turn on is this, the lens drive when AF impossible. So this will just help it keep focusing when it can't focus. Otherwise it won't even try if it's turned off. So the limit AF areas, I have basically, I have them all turned off except for these two that are check marked. And that's just a personal preference. I don't want to have to cycle through all of these that I'm never going to use because personally, I never use them. Okay, so manual focus peaking, I have turned on, and that helps a lot for when I switch it to manual. Sometimes if you get birds in the brush or something and you want to manual focus through twigs and stuff like that, this will help you anytime you're doing manual focusing. So over here on the next one, to go along with that, I turn electronic full-time manual focusing on, which means that even if it's in autofocus, I can override it and manually turn the focus wheel. So down here in this third one for the blue section, if you want to change your magnification just to help you not have to zoom in so much, you can change that here, and you can do, anywhere from 1x to actual size. I usually do somewhere in the middle, and then from the focus point, not a huge deal, but it's there if you want to change that, because magnifying in to check your focus in camera, I think is super important, and I do it all the time. Okay, the next one for me is definitely super important, is I turn the beep off. I just come in here and disable that. I know that bothers a lot of people, and they want to hear it a little bit. So if you just want like some sort of, if you don't want it to be so loud, but you can enable it, and then once it's enabled, you can come down here to the volume, and then you can come down here to beep shutter volume here, and then you can just turn that down. So having it on 1 or 2 Might not scare the animals as much, but it might also let you know that you're taking a photo. So if you have a hard time telling an electronic shutter when you're taking photos, that can help you out a lot. Okay, so over here in the orange third menu, this is where we're getting serious. This is where we're going to come in and change some things. So first off, it's usually set to this. I take it off of AF start and I put it on metering start only. And that's for your shutter button. So I do not want my shutter button to control my autofocus. So how we fix that is we come back down here to these two buttons. So I use the AF on button, and you can see that indicated on there. And I use that as the metering and AF start. And then I come down here to the button next to it, the star button, and I have that as my I AF. You can switch these if you want to do them reversed, because on the R8 these back buttons here are a little close together. I don't like their layout as much. It makes it a little harder to go back and forth. So if maybe just having this AF on as your IAF and then this star button as your AF start, you could totally switch that around if you want. That's just a comfort level thing. And then this guy here, I have the AF point button set to AF points to center, because on this one you can't hit the Q button down here to snap to it, and there's no joystick right here like there is on the R5s and R6s. The joysticks ones, you can hit this and then it will snap to center if the AF focus is like off and wonky somewhere. So I have that set to this button here. All right, so that's definitely the bulk of the settings for my R8 that I'm concerned with when I'm setting it up for wildlife priority. But the beauty of how I have it set up for me is that doing it this way enables me to focus, to prioritize wildlife, but it also doesn't impede or mess with any other type of photography that I want to do, like portraits or landscape or anything like that. Because the beauty of back button focus in combination with the servo is that if I just half press this AF on button, like I showed you guys how I have it set up for my single point autofocus, and I press that and I hold press it and let it go, and it focuses on a bit of an image, like say I'm on a tripod doing a landscape shot, then that'll focus where I want it, like maybe on the horizon or on the mountain or on this rock that's close up or whatever. Once it's told me it's focused on that spot and I let it go, then it's not going to change. So it's effectively a single shot, single point focus. Versus if something is moving, like an animal or a person or anything like that, then I can just hold the AF button down. As long as I'm holding it down, the servo will be engaged and it will track it. And if I want to go to the eye and track something by its eyes, then how I have it set up, I can just hold the star button down. As long as I'm holding the star button down, the eye AF will be engaged and it will follow that subject anywhere in the frame. And if at any time it loses the eye and jumps off of something or goes, that's why I have it set the way I do, because then I can go to the single point and put that single point back on the subject where I want and either track it that way or go back to the IAF and it should jump back on. So that's kind of like my safety rule for having the double back button focus. It takes a lot of getting used to if you've never used that method before, but it really can help you. So, give it a try. And if it doesn't work out, like just practice a lot, like in your yard with some yard birds, or if you have a pet or a spouse or a friend or anybody, anything that has eyes and moves around that you could get access to, just play around with it until you get comfortable with, reprogramming your thumb and that kind of train of thought. And then don't forget your Q menu. When you hit the Q button back here on the set, this menu has all the goods that you'll want, a lot of the stuff that we talked about and we changed in there. You can change through the Q menu, and once you get used to using that Q menu, things are a little bit faster if you're switching between types of photography that you're doing. All right, well, hopefully that helps. If I missed anything or if you have any other questions that wasn't so clear, just let me know in the comments below and I'll definitely try to answer them. If you want to see more wildlife stuff from me, you can check out my wildlife playlists. I have a ton of stuff in that wildlife playlist, both tutorials and like vlog style, just wildlife adventures. If you made it this far, I really appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed yet, you should definitely subscribe. If you're picking up what I'm putting down and you're enjoying the content and you want to help me and Camera Lady out, you can check out our Patreon or channel members. We've got workshops, presets, all kinds of good stuff to little above and beyond help the channel. It really makes a massive difference, and Camera Lady and I both appreciate all of your support. All right, that's it for now. It's chai time. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.